After understanding the exponential distribution and the implication of its use in the queuing model, let us now understand how we actually model queuing problems. The best way to visualize queuing models is through the birth and death process. In this case, a birth is the arrival of a customer in the system so that from a state of n it will become n plus 1 because there is a customer that arrived. On the other hand, a death in this case is a departure of a customer in the system so that from a state of n it will become n minus 1. And the best way to visualize the birth death process is through the rate diagram. Now, for this, for me to be able to show you how a rate diagram looks like, let me go to my notepad. So the rate diagram is composed of several things. First, the rate diagram is composed of nodes. So in this case, let me label the nodes 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Okay? Um, Let me just add n and then so on and so forth. Okay? These nodes, the nodes represent the states of the different states of the system. Meaning a node 0 represents the state where you don't have any customer inside the system. The state 1 represents your queuing system with one customer, state 2 with two customers, state 3 with three customers, state n with n customers, and then so on and so forth. Next, this rate diagram will show us the birth of a customer. And in this case, the birth of a customer, if you remember, um, is a movement from a state of n to n plus 1. So, for example, from a state of 0, it is possible that a birth happened, so a customer entered the system, and therefore we move from a state of 0 to a state of 1. In the same manner of explanation, we can move from a state of 1 to a state of 2, from a state of 2 to a state of 3, from a state of 3 to a state of 4, so on and so forth, from a state of n minus 1 to a state of n, and then from a state of n to a state of n plus 1, and then so on and so forth. Okay? Now, from a state of 0 to a state of 1, as I mentioned a while ago, a birth happened. And in this case, at what rate does your queuing system move from a state of 0 to a state of 1? In this case, the rate at which your system moves from 0 to 1 is, in this case, the arrival rate, but given 0 customers inside the system. From a state of 1 to a state of 2, there is again an arrival, but this arrival depends on how many customers are there in the system. So this is lambda sub 1. In the same way, this is lambda sub 2, lambda sub 3, so on and so forth. And then this is lambda sub n minus 1. And then this one is a lambda sub n. And then again, so on and so forth. As you can see, the top part of the rate diagram actually shows us the rate at which your queuing system moves from one state to another. Now, if the top part shows us the birth rate, then the bottom part shows us the death rate. And in this case, as you can imagine, we move from a state of 1 to a state of 0. And what is the rate at which we move from 1 to 0? Without taking into consideration other factors, then this means that a customer was served, and therefore that served customer left the system, and therefore this is mu sub 1. From 2 to 1 is mu sub 2. From 3 to 2 is mu sub 3, mu sub 4, so on and so forth. Mu sub n, mu sub n minus 1. There is a principle in queuing theory that is called the rate in, rate out principle. It states that the rate at which the queuing system enters a particular state is equal to the rate at which the queuing system leaves a state. There is a mathematical proof to this, which is already outside the coverage of our module. However, what we need to understand now is the implication of this rate in, rate out principle. So what is the implication of this rate in, rate out principle? The implication is that we will have what we call the balance equation. Now, before I go to this set of balance equations, let me go back to my notepad first. Now, according to the rate in, rate out principle, the rate at which the system enters a state equals the rate at which the system leaves a state. Okay? So for example, for node 0, the rate at which the system enters the state is this particular movement, no, entering node 0. So the rate is mu1. However, this mu1, this rate only happens when there is one customer inside the system. Okay? And we equate this to the rate at which the system leaves a particular state. So for example, in this case, state 0. So the rate at which it leaves state 0 is lambda sub 0. But this rate only happens when there is 0 customers inside the system. And therefore, we have a balance equation mu1 P1 is equal to lambda 0 P0, and this is for state 0. Okay? And because we have this equation, we can now simplify. So we have this equation. We can now divide everything by mu1 and get an equation for p sub 1. In this case, p sub 1 is equal to lambda 0 over mu1 times p sub 0. Now, this is the balance equation for state 0. What about for state 1? So for state 1, again, we will apply the rate in, rate out principle. So the rate in is lambda 0 P0. So rate going into 1 is lambda 0 P0, but we have to add mu2. And this happens P sub 2 of the time. And this rate in is equal to the rate out, which is lambda 1 and mu1. So this is lambda 1 P1 plus mu1 P1. And then simplifying, what we have here is lambda 0 P0 plus mu2 P2. And then we will factor out P1. So we have lambda 1 plus mu1 P1. But remember, from here, we got a P1 is equal to lambda 0 over mu1 P sub 0. Therefore, we can substitute P1 with this. Okay? And then, transferring lambda 0 P0 to the right, we have mu2 P2 is equal to, if we multiply lambda 0 over mu1 P0 times lambda 1, we get a lambda 0 lambda 1 over mu1 P sub 0. And then if we multiply lambda 0 over mu1 p0 times mu1, we can cancel out mu1 and we are left with lambda 0 p0. But we need to subtract lambda 0 p0, so this cancels. Okay? And finally, if we divide everything by mu2, we get a balance equation formula where p2 is equal to lambda 0, lambda 1 over mu1, mu2, p sub 0. And that is what we have here. Now, if we do the same process for state 2, we will have this. So for state 2, our rate in are these, our rate out are these, and we remember that P1 is equal to this, and P2 is equal to this. So factoring out P2 here, we get lambda 2 plus mu 2 times P2. And then substituting this here and this here, what we get is a mu 3, P3. This one is transposed to the right, so minus lambda 1 times P1. And then simplifying, if you multiply this with this, you cancel out mu 2. If you multiply this with this, you get lambda 0, lambda 1 over mu 1, which coincidentally cancels with this. No? And therefore, what you are left with is this times this. Or, sorry, this times this. Or it's lambda 0, lambda 1, lambda 2 over mu 1, mu 2. And then divide everything by mu 3. We get this. As you may have noticed, there is a pattern that we are able to see when we try to look for the equation for our P sub 1, P sub 2, P sub 3. This is P sub 1, this is P sub 2, this is P sub 3. So on and so forth. And therefore, we can generalize. You may want to continue and check state 3. No? For state 3, for state 3, no, if we do the rate in rate out equation, what we will eventually get is a p sub 4, sorry, is a p sub 4 is equal to lambda 0, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 all over mu 1, mu 2, mu 3, mu 4, p sub 0. And therefore, we can generalize P sub n, no, or the probability that there are n customers inside the system to be equal to the multiplication of all the lambdas until lambda sub n minus 1 divided by the product of all the mu's until mu sub n. And then you multiply it by P sub 0. Now, what can we do with this equation for P sub n? What I can do first is to give it a notation. No? Let C sub n be equal to the coefficient to the left of P sub 0. So in this case, I am letting this part of the equation, this part of the equation, not including P sub 0, to be C sub n. No? So this part to be C sub n. Now, because I've defined this to be C sub n, and in this case, this is C sub n only if n is greater than or equal to 1, then I can substitute this with C sub n in this formula to give us this. Or P sub n is equal to C sub n, P sub 0. And let us see why C sub n is equal to 1 for n equals 0. Because if you if you substitute n equals 0, so you have p sub 0 is equal to c sub 0 p sub 0, and therefore if we divide everything by p sub 0, we get a c sub 0 equals 1. Okay? So to complete the definition of C sub n is this ratio for n is greater than or equal to 1. But if n is equal to 0, then C sub n is equal to 1. Now, because our P sub n formula is this, then we can actually use a definition that we currently know from our probability class. And what is that definition? That the sum of all the P sub n's from n equals 0 to infinity should be equal to 1. And because P sub n is equal to this, so we can substitute P sub n with this, equated to 1. We factor out P sub 0, so it becomes this. And therefore, what we now have is a formula for P sub 0. We are now able to find the probability that there are no customers inside the system. And all we have to do is get the summation of C sub n from n equals 0 to infinity, and then get its reciprocal. Getting a formula for P sub 0 is a very big thing for us when we try to model queuing problems, because if we have P sub 0, then we can get P sub n. And because we are now able to find P sub n, then technically we can get any of the two performance measures, no? Either L or LQ. Why? Because remember, L is just the summation of nPn from n equals 0 to infinity, and LQ is equal to the summation from n equals s to infinity of n minus s times P sub n. So remember, once we have this, we now have P sub n, and because we have P sub n, then we can either get L or LQ. And because of Little's formula, after getting, for example, L, we are now able to get the rest. The rest being our W, WQ, and of course LQ.